We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Tuesday. We're into the week now. We've got a guest with us. We've got Will from Georgia. Um, Will's been going through some things with TikTok. I think maybe we've evened things out. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Will, before I do this, I just want to show people something. I got this a
Sure.
long time ago.
Mhm.
And I showed it on the show, but there was fewer people watching at the time. Um, but a listener sent me something, the coolest fucking thing ever. They sent me this, yes, Rational
That's
Boomer.
so cool.
Uh, it is. It's kind of hard to see because I got that background shit on there, but I'm going to be drinking out of it. So when people say, "What the fuck has he got?"
That
And
is
with
so
that,
cool.
it's metal. It's got the top on it, so
Oh
it's
no,
so
that's
you can.
nice.
And it's nicely
Someone,
done. I couldn't.
yeah,
If I
yeah,
had
someone did that
merch,
nice.
this would be the shit.
Yeah, that's the merch. You know, it's kind of weird to watch people with merch. I get it, but you know, gotta make a living.
But well, TJ and his wife, when I first met him, they sent me a T-shirt. They have a couple T-shirts with that same
Right.
picture on it, and they sent it to me, and I said, "That's nice, TJ, but how am I going to wear that? I'm going to
What?
wear."
My cut. I'm sorry. What kind
No,
of
I
gas?
told him, go ahead, sell the shit, but I'm not going to wear a shirt with my face on it. Just
Yeah,
not going to do it.
that's narcissistic. That's like, you know, yeah, I get you. It's like older guys wearing baseball jerseys or football
Yeah.
jerseys. I'm like, no, no.
Or
I mean,
weirdos wearing Trump shirts.
oh
It's a
god,
little
it's weird.
weird.
Weird. It's those folk are just. Before we talk about, I want to talk about the economy, but I do have to touch on one thing that I saw. I don't know who the fuck Jubilee is. This guy who apparently likes to take debates between the extreme of both sides.
Oh
And he
yeah, I
had
know that.
Mahdi Hassan versus 20 conservatives. No, it was Mahdi Hassan versus 20 racist. Okay.
And dipshits. They were all younger
Dipshits.
people and they weren't very bright.
No, and the thing about it's like, first, Mahdi, I hope he paid you well and paid you up front. Okay. Two,
Yeah.
the one thing I hated about it, there was the one guy, because I saw the clips, because I will not see that because I can't, I can't. So I say I can't. My blood, there ain't no blood pressure medicine I have to control that. But there was one. I know this guy is fucked up that does it because there's that one guy who said he says you're a fascist, and he called him out a fascist. And he goes, yeah, and he smiled, and I heard that guy giggling in the background. Oh, good. I go, motherfucker, you don't give a rat's ass about what's being said. You just love it because you know that people are going to watch.
Right.
Because everyone watch a fucking car wreck. I mean, that guy was bad enough. Then he had the guy who said that all Native Americans are white. After he admitted to Hassan that his family came to the United States in 1590. Oh, you're an immigrant. He goes, no, I'm not. Yeah, you are, motherfucker. Your family came here. You're not a Native American. But the worst one was the white girl. And I saw this clip and I just couldn't, I almost vomited on the screen. She can't get a job. So it's all immigrants' fault.
Oh yeah.
And Hassan made a good comment because I can't get a job because of immigrants. Goes, what, you can't get a job in farming? That was a good call. But she blew past it. I'm going, really? You look like a professional. How is that someone picking fruit or someone working in a Mexican restaurant your fucking problem?
Yeah.
That's a you problem, lady. That means that you don't have skills or you can't present yourself properly. So, like most people who don't realize that, you blame somewhere else for your own problems. It
Or
was disgusting.
maybe or maybe because you hang around a bunch of fucking racists, people don't trust you. People don't like you. I don't want racists working for
It's
my company. Maybe that's why you can't get a
and
job.
also those type of people's personality. Let's be honest. Those type of people personality great on you in an office. You know them, you smell them, you don't want to be around them. They're just disgusting human beings. And that's probably why. And I saw, and the problem with that is that that guy was basically mainstreaming fascism.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there are any consequences for all those people, because if you're putting your face out there and thinking that normal people are going to relate to you, good luck. And I'll
Well,
guarantee fucking to you, each one of those guys haven't gotten a date in their lives. Period.
remember in the old day. Remember in the old days when they would say about Hollywood and stuff, all publicity is good publicity. That is
Yes.
no longer the case in social media.
No.
If you come out and are recognized as a racist or a white supremacist or anti Semite or a misogynist, that shit's going to hang with you. That's going to hang
Yep.
with you. Now, just so people understood the show you're talking about, it's called Surrounded. And what they do is they bring in one person of a specific type. In this case, it was Mehdi Hassan, who was
Mm-hmm.
more liberal, and all these allegedly young Republicans. They're neither Republican or conservative. They are
No,
strictly
they're fucking
racist.
fascists.
And Mehdi
Racist
Hassan
fascists.
just took them down one at a time. Now, I will say this about Mehdi Hassan. Mehdi Hassan, whatever he took in that little show, ain't nothing compared to what he took from mainstream media. He used
Yes.
to come on. He used to come on MSNBC and kick people's asses as a guest. So they gave him a show. And there is probably no better interviewer with liars than Mehdi
Yes.
Hassan. He is absolutely tenacious, he is brilliant, and he nails them. So they gave him a weekend show, and he nailed a few people. And they said, Mehdi, we're going to have to let you go. Why? Because you did too good a job. You're
Oh,
too tough on these people.
well, you know why, actually? Because you brought it up to me, I think, a few shows back that we did about AIPAC.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, like, I honestly thought that was almost like urban myth, right? And then I'm beginning to see when Netanyahu showed up, all the Democrats showed up. Hakeem Jeffrey still won't support Zandani for New York. I want to touch on that in a few minutes. And the problem why he got fired was that after the October 7th massacre with Hamas, understand, no one supports what Hamas did on October 7th, 3 years ago
No,
now, almost 3 fucking years ago. Is that what Biden was trying to tell Netanyahu? Yeah, we know you got to react, but don't do what we did and overreact. And what's he done? He's been overreacting. And why the fuck he's bombing Syria now makes no motherfucking sense other than he's hanging on for war. There's no
that's it.
reason to mess with the Syrians. The Syrians are threatening you. The Syrians are trying to come back from a goddamn civil war, and you bomb their defense ministry on live TV with no excuses. And then you show up in the
Yeah.
United States. I understand Republicans running to them, but to see Chuck Schumer, Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries in that audience going tells me AIPAC has become a threat to to American democracy. I get your mission, but your mission is not conducive to democracy. It's not. Stop it.
Uh, you know,
And stop
you know,
taking
you
their
know,
fucking money.
the thing about it is the problem with Israel is if you go against Netanyahu, maybe you're anti-Semitic,
No,
and that's not the case. You
shit.
aren't anti-Semitic by going after Benjamin Netanyahu any more than you're anti-Christian if you go after Donald Trump. These people aren't about religion at all. They may use it to their benefit to
Mm-hmm.
get votes, to get money. But Benjamin Netanyahu may or may not be Jewish, but he doesn't represent the Jewish faith. The
Nope.
people who live in that country do. And what he's doing is basically war crimes. Donald
Yep.
Trump, we've got the radical right Christians. They don't represent real Christians, and neither does Donald Trump. What they're doing
Uh,
is the opposite of Christianity. So just because we talk shit about Benjamin Netanyahu, um, a lot of the people that are APAC benefiters get angry and they call it anti-Semitism if you push back against that. Here's the bottom line. Let's take the religion out of it. If you've got one country in this world that's not us, that is pouring money into each and every member of our Congress, at least most of them,
Mm-hmm.
don't you understand how that's a conflict of interest and a problem? I don't care if it's fucking Sweden. If they are starting to pour money into these Congress people's pockets and trying to control them, that's a problem when an outside country, no matter who they are, is doing
Mm-hmm.
that.
And again, was this distinguish between the Israeli people and the Israeli government, like we have to do here between the
Right.
American people and the American government, and that's what it is. And when I saw that, I was watching it. Why is he bombing? What are you doing? And it's all bullshit because he's trying to hang on to power again. Because as we all know, if he leaves power, he's going to jail. He's already been convicted. That's bottom line. But I mean, that's just one more little bit of bullshit that hinders everything. Um, we're here. I'm going to talk about the most important. We're here because I have to do this before I forget. And then I want to talk about the economy because a lot of people are missing some shit that they have to be aware of really soon. Is I think the most important election right now that is a precursor to the midterms is the mayoral election in New York City.
You think
Because,
so?
yes, and this is my thinking, Zohar Mandani is doing a campaign that you should do. He talks to the people. He is not professing anything that any progressive has said ever. But instead of doing it from a high point, he gets people to ask him, and that's what he's been doing. And people said, I need this, I need that. Great. We can do this with a 4% tax on the upper rich and get everyone what they want. Everyone still makes money and everyone gets what they want. The bus rides, the the subsidies of groceries, which are done everywhere in the world to help people, to so people can live. Rent control because it's out of control in New York. These are things that people told him what he wants. He's talked to New York cops who says, "Hey, we don't want to be fucking psychologists. Help us that, and so we can fight crime. Great, we can come up with a unit that deals with those type of things. These are practical, smart things. It's practical, smart things, but because he is of Middle Eastern descent, AIPAC and all those people are fucking freaking out. It's not the progressive stuff because that's normal. You could win on that. And that, if it's presented right by the right people without feeling condescending. Does that make sense? Because that's the
Yeah.
problem with a lot of that progressive stuff. A lot of people take it as an offense. But if you could sell it to them from someone from the bottom up, it does make sense. That's why he basically wiped the floor with Andrew Cuomo. Cuomo, let's be honest, I can't say it on TikTok, I'm saying it here. He's a fucking sexual predator.
Yeah.
He is a scumbag. Okay. You do not resign from the governorship for those accusations and then run for mayor of New York because the Democratic Party need a old guy or a middle guy. That guy is no different than Trump. And he talks the same shit. He gets money from the rich. They asked him about tenants. He compared them to, hotel guests. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, he is totally in the pocket of the rich. He's doing this because he needs it for his ego, and because he got ran out of the state house. And and the other side running as independent is Eric Adams, who, if it wasn't for Emil Bove, who was getting paid off to a federal judgeship, he'd be in jail for being a crook because
Yeah.
he's the one that dropped the DOJ charges, causing half the people in the Southern District of New York to fucking resign. All right. And he's running around acting like a man of the people. You don't give a fuck about the people. In fact, you encourage ICE into the city, and all you care about is lining your pockets. And you hide behind you being an advocate for the black community. You lying sack of shit. You couldn't care less. Same thing with Andrew Cuomo trying to run around. No, you're not. The only man of the people is Zoran Mandani. And why is Will saying this is important? Because Hakeem Jeffries, who's from New York, refuses to endorse the Democratic candidate for mayor. He said he makes excuses. I don't know him. I don't know if his policies will work for us. You lying sack of shit. You are getting paid by AIPAC. You won't support a man who can give you the city of New York and then make it even, you can build on it for the party, for New York, to the country. It's a way to win because it's not talking about bullshit old school policy that Cuomo and lies about and Adams lies about. But the Democratic leadership, i.e., Jeffries and Schumer, are paid off. If the voters in New York buy into this bullshit and elect Cuomo or Adams, that bodes ill for Democrats across the country because that tells you Democratic leadership is more concerned about getting fucking paid than fucking worrying about what's going around the country, which
Yeah.
is basically ethnic cleansing, the economy falling apart. As long as you get paid, fuck us. And that's why I think that's important. That's a huge bellwether if that acts, that old message is going to leak through to voters in New York.
I
Because I
don't know
think
if you
that's
know
important.
this. I don't know if you know this, but something similar is happening in Minneapolis. I don't know if you've heard this.
No,
The
go
mayor
ahead.
of Minneapolis is a gentleman by the name of Jacob Fry.
Mm-hmm.
He is Jewish, and he's been the mayor for a while. He's gotten a lot of heat about not doing some things well. I don't live in Minneapolis anymore, so I haven't really paid attention to what he's done or what he's doing. But there was somebody running against him. His name is Omar Fateh or Fateh.
Mm-hmm.
He's he's a state senator. He's Somali and he's Muslim.
Cool. Cool.
It's weird. So and they had kind of a primary with the DFL delegates,
Mm-hmm.
and Fateh beat Mayor Fry. So they
For the
picked
Democratic nomination?
for the Democratic nomination.
Holy shit.
They picked the Somali Muslim, who is a um, Democratic socialist, over Jacob Fry. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know what's so weird about this is that New York's kind of a melting pot. You got all kinds of people. In
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, we're kind of a melting pot too. We've got a lot of Somali people. We've got a lot of Vietnamese, Hmong people, and that sort of thing. But largely, this state and that's this state in general is a bunch of white Scandinavian Lutherans or Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Lutherans and Catholics. Now, urban Minneapolis is changing, and there's a lot of Somali folks in Minneapolis. But it's interesting that what's going on in New York, it is against a religious type of thing. You've
Mm-hmm.
got religious, in New York, it's religious and racist. In New York, you've got a Muslim. I think Cuomo's a Catholic. And then you've got um, Adams, who I don't know what
Probably
his
a
religion
Protestant,
is, but he's a
Protestant of
crook.
some
He's a
type.
crook.
Mm.
He's a crook. So anyway, that's shaking out that way. But even in this town, this very blue state, we've got a Muslim versus a Jew, and the Muslim beat him out for the primary. So he is the DFL
And
endorsed candidate, and
I,
that's freaking
going,
people out in this state.
I mean, the thing about it is, again, this is what we're dealing with Trump's America. They have so screwed up what the way a person looks like and talks or thinks as opposed to policy. And again,
Yeah,
socialist policies, okay, let's talk about socialist policies. Those things are just determined to help the common people to keep afloat, to keep going an opportunity. The rich people, the very oligarchs, have hated that since day one.
right.
I saw some dumb motherfucker come up with a TikTok because he thinks he knows the economy, and he goes, "We shouldn't tax the rich because the rich make everything, and if we tax the rich, they're going to raise the prices on everything." You dumb motherfucker! You have no idea how the economy works.
Well, that was
Okay.
common thought in the '80s. So try to keep up, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, that's trickle down theory that came from Reagan. That at the time, it even Bush called when he was running against Reagan voodoo economics. The math never worked. You cannot do that. You cannot concentrate wealth and expect everyone to give it. They don't do that. No
No.
one does that. Fuck. All you got to be is a nerd to know that dragons don't share gold, even though they don't spend it. That's a fucking oligarch. They're a big fat dragon sitting on gold wanting more. And you got to feed them more. That's all those fucking people are. They don't build anything, they don't give anything, they just take. Okay? And you
Yeah.
fucking are saying that we can't tax them because they're going to raise your price. Motherfucker, they're going to raise your prices anyway. Corporations don't work like that. And I listened to that simplistic bullshit. And I said, dude, you don't know how the economy works. And someone says to me, yeah, you don't know how the economy works. I go, cultists, get away from me. Okay? Get away from me. Okay? Let me tell you how this is what's going on right now in the economy. And if you're not ready for this, you're out of your mind because this is going to get very bad very soon. We're watching the first things of tariffs starting to happen. Coffee's up 15%. Beef is up 30% because we can't import beef because we're having problems in the United States with smaller cattle herds. That's
Right.
supply and demand. Supply and demand, everyone. That's how prices are determined, not the fucking person sitting in the White House. Although he can't fuck things up like he's doing right now with the tariffs. I saw Lutnick's act. He's sitting there trying to tell everyone I've got. He did this with a smile on his face on the Sunday show. Yes, in 2 weeks we have deals and they're going to pay the tariffs. Not Americans, but the countries. The countries don't pay tariffs. Stop. You lied your fucking ass off, and there's no 2 weeks with that. There are no deals. We know this. I know this. This is just Trump because he needs to do something. But that's the beginning of inflation going up. You can see it. As they go with the immigration, supplies are going to start to drop, and you're going to see more rises in prices, especially for foodstuffs. Now, he has a fucking hard on for Jerome Powell. Okay? He wants Jerome Powell because Trump, again, has no fucking idea how economies and world economies work. Who's the Treasury Secretary? Because Lutkin's commercial. Who's the Treasury? Scott
Scott Bessent, and I just want to tell you a
Bassett.
story before we go further.
Go ahead, because
This
I'm going to
was
play on that. Go ahead, tell
this
your
was
story.
the Wall Street Journal, and the Wall Street Journal once again embarrassed Donald Trump and came out within their story. They said that Scott Bessent had to tell Donald Trump how taking out Jerome Powell would affect the economy and would destroy the economy. Donald Trump saw that in the Wall Street Journal and he got all butthurt. He didn't have to tell me that. I know better than anybody. He didn't. I know what the market wants. I got what this is about. I know how to handle it. He was very hurt that somebody suggested somebody else explain something to him. So, but has that taken him off of trying to get or trying to at least push out Powell in some way? He's not going to do it directly. He can't legally fire
No.
Powell. He can try all these games, come up. Well, he's renovating the building, so he must have done something
Improvements
shady there.
that were approved in 2019 by the Trump administration. Hi, shut
Exactly.
up. I mean, but it's worse than that, Mike. He's talking about the market because he's such a small man and he doesn't know how the world works. Interest rates, national interest rates are determined by treasury bonds,
Right.
treasury bills. Okay, everyone, treasury bills are what other countries buy to invest in the United States. They get a certain amount, they get an interest, and they get a payout down the line. It's working money for the United States. That's what it's always been. If you're a good investment, people invest. Understand the Japanese hold $3 trillion in treasury bonds. Side note, he keeps fucking with the Japanese who are about ready to say, fuck you, we're going to call in our notes. That would be a disaster. Even for the Japanese, where they're at the point to save face, we will do it. Side note.
Let me just say something now. Say you have, when you say call in the notes, the 3 trillion and how it's going
Mm-hmm,
to impact the country. Let's say you own a house for $600,000
mm-hmm.
that you paid for it and got a mortgage through a bank, and you're paying every month a reasonable amount that you can afford for the next 30 years. What if 10 years or 5 years into it and say, we don't like this deal anymore. We need you to pay off the whole house today or we're taking the motherfucker. That's essentially what you're talking about with the treasury bills.
Well,
They
to an
take the
extent,
money, they they're pulling the rug out from under the entire
right?
country.
To an extent, because you buy a bill on a treasury bill on a face value. Okay,
Hmm.
that's a guaranteed payout. Okay, if you buy I'm going to do this simpler. If you buy, and I know this is probably ridiculous, you buy $100,000 treasury bill. Okay, the interest rate is 3%, and it matures in 10 years. Okay,
Right.
so 3%, whatever, you're going to get a certain amount guaranteed at the end, or you get payments a certain amount during the time, based on interest collected at the time. But each one of these T bills have an early a way to basically sell it back and say, I want my face value now. You give up the interest, you give up the interest, but you have to give back the 100,000 that they originally invested.
Right.
So if they have $3 trillion in T bills, that's $3 trillion face value that they could call in. Now it would affect them because they're losing money, counting how long those bills have been out there. They don't get the interest, but they can get their principal back. And if they get their principal, they could demand the principal. It's in the T bills. Trust me, I've done enough. I've seen this. I've read it. This is part of macroeconomics and some finance and stuff. I did. It's built in. They take a hit, but then we, as the Treasury, have to cough up that money.
Right.
That's the problem, and that's the thing, and that's what he doesn't realize. Because the other part of that, and T-bills, going back to that, if we're a good investment, countries invest. That they get paid back because the United States has GDP. It's basically like it doing a stock per country on a larger basis. Interest rates are based on that. They go up and down. You higher the interest rate, that's not good for T-bills. Lower the rate, it's better. What would happen is what's happening right now is that the confidence in the United States is very low.
Right.
T-bills also affect dollar, the value of the dollar in the world. Okay. If Donald Trump removes Jerome Powell and causes chaos and put someone in like whatever fucking stooge he has, and they just don't even look at anything and start playing with interest rates, it would collapse the dollar.
Yeah.
It would collapse the dollar because no one's going to trust the dollar because they can't trust the Treasury Department, and it would collapse the dollar, which means the dollar is worth less. Look up what happened to Germany after World War One. You look up the words hyperinflation. It would be a fucking disaster. It's that's what what's again Scott, he was trying to tell Trump.
Competent.
Yeah, he was trying to tell him, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. But Trump is so fucking stupid. He only sees it in the sense of Wall Street. No, no, there won't be any Wall Street. There won't be anything.
Yeah.
You will literally crash everything for your ego. It would be a disaster upon disaster. Also, oil is traded in dollars. Could you imagine the crash of the energy markets worldwide? He is a fucking hand grenade sitting on our economic future based on his fucking ill-conceived world of business that doesn't exist. Even in the 50s, no one would do business with Trump because they couldn't trust him. if he was
Right.
around there. He has no idea how business is done. It's always been, I get what I want, fuck you. Business is not done like that. It's a give and take. It's always been a give and take.
But
But if he,
what
go ahead.
when you are talking about the crash, collapse of the dollar, and all these types of things, this isn't just going to impact the people of this country, us. It's going to impact big business. It's going to impact the rest of the world. Don't you think? If he even got close to that point, some of these big business people would put some pressure on him or do something to him because it's going to cost them everything if they allow him to do it.
I would think, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, because these people are, honestly, they're insane. They're in a cult. They're deep into this bullshit. And it's like, I don't, I mean, if I'm a CFO with a company, I'd be going, hey guys, this is bad. We need to look at this. But these people are so deep in their own political beliefs or thinking they have enough money to outright it. Um, I don't know. It makes sense. Everything I'm saying makes sense. But of course, if you bring this to MAGA or all that, they just kind of go, they don't, they just said, no, he's the greatest man, greatest businessman ever. What has he created? Not a
Well,
god.
and see, that's where I'm so troubled by this. I always look at things with logic and common sense, and I could feel strong with standing behind common sense and logic up until November 5th, when common sense and logic said Kamala was going to win. And when it didn't win, I thought, wow, common sense and logic is out the fucking window. So we're sitting here talking about this, maybe collapsing the dollar if he tries to get rid of Powell or tries to fuck with it a little bit, and it would crash the country. It would crash all the businesses and around the world. Common sense and logic says somebody's going to stop him before then. But then we see what's happened up to this point, and like you say, we don't fucking know
You know,
how far they will let this clown go.
I mean, and the thing about it is, I want to those of you because I know you Trumplicans watch this. I know you do because I see some of the comments. Um,
If you do, fuck you. I
yeah,
don't like you. I
yeah,
don't care about you. Fuck
hmm
Trump fucks.
right, exactly, and your family and your children's children. That being said, um, they keep talking about he's built all this. Let me put out some things that people have actually done. These were men considered, to an extent, brilliant businessmen and pariahs. Rockefeller created Standard Oil, a monopoly. He created the monopoly of making oil, um, uh, of bringing oil to the ground, refining oil, and selling oil all in one loop. That's why they broke his monopoly, because he could set prices. Carnegie with steel, same thing. He created all that for himself, but he built that from him to that. That's a monopoly. I mean, you can look at those examples. For a while, even Apple or Microsoft, those are brilliant guys who built this into monopolies. Now, no monopolies had to be broken. They had to be um, regulated because they were taking advantage of people. But those were businesses built by men who are a lot fucking smarter than Donald Trump ever was. Donald Trump in those days would be a destitute pauper. They would eat him alive. The idea of Donald Trump trying to go against John Rockefeller makes me laugh. Andrew Carnegie was a cold hearted motherfucker. He would have taken care of Trump, or his people around him would have taken care of Trump. You guys don't get it. He has been conning you for decades. I've never seen him. The only thing he's good at is a con game, and he sold it, and he keeps selling it, and he's now sold it to a point that is a religion. It's a
Let me ask you
fucking
this.
religion.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of people are talking about this. We've got the whole situation with the Epstein thing. We've got Wall
Oh,
Street coming out with this little birthday card. Donald Trump's so upset about the birthday card, which is weird because there's nothing in the card that suggests he did anything criminal or
it's
corrupt. All
fucking
it did is
creepy.
suggest that it's creepy and it may be innuendo towards something that might be illegal. But um, But all they were saying in this reporting is that, yeah, Donald Trump and he were buddies. And that's crazy to argue that because there's video
Yeah.
and pictures and documents and people coming out and Jeffrey Epstein himself saying that they were best buddies for 10 years. But Donald Trump does not like the idea that he's being portrayed as this monster's friend,
Let's.
but he was. Now
Yes.
the thing about it is so weird. He's mad at the Wall Street Journal. Rupert Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal, and he's mad at Rupert Murdoch. Now these people fed off each other during the campaign. They're buddies, they're friends, they're cohorts in crime. But now they're fighting, kind of not unlike what we saw with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. But some people are saying that Rupert Murdoch is relishing the prospect of embarrassing Donald Trump, and frankly, I don't see him following through with this lawsuit because Donald Trump would have to sit under oath in a deposition, have to provide some evidence. And of course, Rupert Murdoch would provide some evidence for Wall Street Journal. It would be just nothing but embarrassing for Donald Trump. But here's my question. When you see somebody who was as close to Donald Trump as Rupert Murdoch, is this a signal that some of the wealthy people in this country are finally having enough with him and they're going to
Well,
try to shut him down behind the scenes a little bit by bit?
I'm going to go a way that's even more sinister and even more scarier. Trump has been everything you see what's going on right now with the stripping of the government, the ethnic cleansing,
Yeah,
the movement. If you've seen the story of the woman in Tennessee whose provider, OBGYN, refused to see her because she's unmarried based on this religion. You're seeing this kind of theocratic thing happening, which is Project 2025.
right.
Project 2025, or the people running it, all those folk there, the really hardcore Christian right, led by Stephen Miller, led by all those folks now in the White House, all these evangelical preachers who live in the White House now, are seeing that they don't need him anymore. He has done their
Right.
base work. And they see JD Vance as a pliable piece of shit that they can use as their face for everything. Because honestly, they don't need the base anymore. They got their power.
Yeah.
And since the Supreme Court is evangelical, is a Christian nationalist, 6 of them are Christian nationalists. Let's be honest, that's what they think.
Yeah.
They got the power. They have put all the exec power into the executive branch to do what they want, and they are ready to get rid of crazy and get on to business of turning the United States into a theocracy.
Well, and
And
some people have said to me, well, JD Vance just as dangerous as Donald Trump. And I don't necessarily believe that. Don't get me wrong. I don't think JD Vance is a safe guy. I don't think he'd be a good president. I think he's going to be disastrous for this country. But the problem Republicans are having now with Donald Trump, he is pliable too, to a certain extent. But then he goes off half cocked, goes against what people tell him. He doesn't listen to shit, and he'll do the craziest stuff. JD Vance isn't likely to do that. He's going to be more under control. And I think you're right. I think
well, JD
people are
Vance
finally
also
seeing it. He's a liability now, not
is
an
already put
asset.
out what he thinks on that one speech he did in San Diego when he said that there are more people more American than others.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the base. We're starting to basically, I'm going to say this, and people aren't going to like it, but I don't give a fuck.
I've
Okay.
got a track record of doing that. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
I don't. Yeah, and that's why I'm on my third TikTok account. Um, Evangelical Christians are a cult. Evangelical Christians are not a true religion. They are power base. They don't believe in Christianity. They just use Christianity for power. Everything that Jesus told us not to do.
Right.
Okay. Evangelicals in within the Power 2025 structure, Project 2025 structure, are now running this country. Bottom line, and they have
Yep.
raised Donald Trump to a deity. Because if you look at it, people say you can't go against Trump. Why? He's just the president. No, he's divine. Understand,
To them.
Mike Johnson said that he's a divine man. A man who, and let's be blunt, we've been jumping around with this Epstein thing, okay? I want to say it because I can say it here on Spotify, I can say it on YouTube. Donald Trump paid to fuck little girls. Bottom line it. Enough with this
That's a little
bullshit.
harsh. Yeah.
With this what else? He paid Epstein and Maxwell to get underage girls for him to fuck. Period. End discussion. That's what we're dealing with here. And
You know
all
how
those other
weird.
people.
You know how weird this is to listen to that and thinking to myself, if I was to say that, I would couch it a little bit better than that. And then I realize I'm talking about me. I say shit all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
even still, I mean, in realistic terms, that's correct. We don't have proof of that happening. We don't know for sure that it's happened, but we know there are a lot of accusations out there of that very thing. Uh, and so it at very least deserves an investigation. But that will never happen with the
Well,
current DOJ.
I mean, I mean, if they, if Epstein had gone to trial, it would have been a disaster for many people because it
Yeah,
all would have come out. Okay, it's bad enough. Maxwell, they got her quick and out for Epstein, but if he had gone to trial, that's why he committed suicide. Um, because it would have been a disaster. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. They refer to those guys as short eyes in prisons. They don't last long because they're not popular. But the point is that everyone keeps. This is part of the problem with Trump. Everyone has been normalizing him for a decade. Okay,
well, more
he
than
was
that, but yeah,
yeah, well, but he was a freak before. We all thought he was a freak and a joke. But
yeah,
once he got into the politics, everyone's all up in arms of what happened with Stephen Colbert and 60 Minutes and all that. CBS has been playing this game for 10 years. Okay, the reason Donald Trump was big in the election of 2016 because all the news people followed his campaign because it gave them ratings because it was such a shit show and a clown show. He
right,
never paid. He never really paid for fucking campaign advertising. The networks gave it to him, and they
yeah.
asked Lou Manvos, Les Moonves, who
Les
was the
Moonves.
longtime head of CBS, about him, and his statement was, "Yeah, we know it's a problem. He's could be a problem, but he's giving us ratings."
Yeah,
CBS is doing this motherfucking shit for over decades. Okay, the sad thing about CBS, that's the old network
Walter
of the
Cronkite,
old Walter Cronkite,
60
Edward R.
Minutes,
Murrow, the people who helped bring down Joe
McCarthy.
McCarthy. But here we are now. All
Yeah,
right. And on a side note, yeah, go ahead and get rid of Colbert. He's going to be bigger. You
yeah, he'll
guys
be
don't mean
bigger.
shit. You know, I'm seeing this. Oh, this is a thing on the First Amendment. No, when they start dragging us away for saying something, that's when it is. At
Put it
this
this way:
point, yeah,
Midas Touch goes around saying that they're excited and justifiably so that they're
mm-hmm.
bigger than Joe Rogan
Yep,
right now. They'd say that. Put Colbert and maybe put Jon Stewart on with them. They'll be bigger than both of them combined. That's
exactly.
all they have to do.
And I think you said a suggestion on the live. Yeah, HBO Max or HBO has John Oliver. John Oliver is brutal.
Yeah,
John Oliver is probably the smartest comedian ever because in that comedian bits are unbelievable research and truth in his statements. Okay, Bill Maher needs to be fired. I'm tired of his act. His shit doesn't work anymore. You get
no.
rid of him and you drop Stewart and Colbert. Hey HBO, you Warner Brothers, you'll be bigger than CBS
Unless you're
because
afraid of
people,
Donald Trump.
yeah, they're not. They get subscriptions. They don't need him. I pay
Yeah.
for that every month.
Yeah.
There's a
True.
difference. There's a difference with the advertising and all that. They don't need the advertising. HBO's been around. John Oliver's been there forever. John Oliver picked a fight with a coal baron who sued him and then ran away because he knew he couldn't do it. I watched it. The guy, he did it. They told him, don't do it. Okay, I did it. He sued him and then he backed away because he knew he was going to lose. The point is, there's been a normalizing of Donald Trump forever. When I say that, it's because it's time for us to stop beating around the bush. We keep trying to be nice. Fuck nice. I'm tired of being nice. I'm
I agree.
tired of playing by the rules. I'm tired of being tired. And I said this in a video. People are just like, I don't know what to do. I'm so tired. Then get fucking mad.
Yeah.
Get fucking mad. Get fucking mad and call it for what it is. Okay? Let's see what's going on. This is the destruction of the American Republic by a bunch of fucking morons.
That's the most disturbing thing too, is we've got idiots doing this and getting away with it. Now, you said something earlier. You said that something I've said all along is the reason the networks, mainstream media, stuck with Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020 and even 2024 is because he was good TV and he meant ratings and money to them. Here's the thing about America: people love building people up, but they love even more tearing them down. There will come a point where it's more profitable to rip Donald Trump to shreds, just to tear him to shreds. And I feel like we're getting closer to that moment in time with the Epstein thing and all this stuff and his own people coming out against him. That time is going to happen. Pretty soon it's going to be popular. It's going to be hip to kick the shit out of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And then you and I will be finally hip in this fucking world.
And the thing is, like, I'm just tired of people just beating around the bush.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. I mean, he is a moron,
Yeah.
and the people who follow him are marching morons. They're
Yeah.
all dumb, and they just follow everything he says. That includes everyone in his cabinet, and everything right now is just they just throw stuff out to see if it sticks to the wall. Let's talk about a couple of things on that. Hey, Tulsi, good luck in arresting Barack Obama. That ain't gonna work.
That's hilarious.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. You know, the video of him being arrested, him in a jumpsuit. You know what? If Pam Bondi actually had FBI agents arrest Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, do you know what the riots would be in the streets?
Yeah.
It would be a nightmare. People would be very upset.
And something I pointed
Right.
out in the live yesterday, as much as they may want to arrest him or claim that he's a criminal, what about that Supreme Court decision
Immunity
where
thing? Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
all
yeah.
presidents have immunity? I don't think you can touch him. He could go up and kick you in the balls, and you can't do shit to him. You know,
Yeah, and
that's what Donald Trump hates Barack Obama because of
oh
that one
god.
time where he tore him up at that dinner. That's why he wants to talk shit about Barack Obama. He wants to distract away from Epstein, and he's trying some of the stupidest shit.
Oh my
But
god.
that's why he wants to win the Nobel Peace Prize, because Barack Obama won it, and he wants to be as good or better than Barack Obama. Donnie, I'm afraid you're not going to ever get fucking close. You're not as good as Herbert Hoover.
Um
Herbert Hoover looks good compared to you, motherfucker.
and the same thing that Hoover and Trump have one thing in common. They have no empathy.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about the American people. Hoover didn't. Just read it.
No.
Um that thing about us that Barack Obama did, Biden did. To an extent even the Bushes did within their thing. Mitch McConnell never cared about the American people. He's an unempathetic little prick. The point is, that's what we had. I listen to this bullshit every day, and like Trump is, we as a country are stupid. We are
Unfortunately,
generally
true.
not very bright, and we don't. I mean, we went through school. We always had teachers. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe you were lucky that taught us to think, critical thinking. Before they call it critical thinking, we were always told to evaluate.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and that's the thing. We're always told to evaluate, to break it down. History is like that. Science is like that. But now, do you know the 20th of July, was the 56th anniversary of the greatest American technological achievement ever, landing on the moon?
Right.
I want to remind everyone that because no one brought it up in the media because they're too busy with this bullshit from Trump.
Yeah.
But we put a man on the moon on July 20th, 1969, using 8-bit computer.
Yeah.
Guys with slide rail rules put man on the moon. When they landed, and half of it was, we're guessing this will work. I
Yeah.
mean, when they landed, it was close to crashing. They didn't know. They were just guessing, and they got lucky. But that was balls. That was balls of American courage and American technology and American chutzpah to put a man on the moon. And you know who gelded that? Fucking Nixon. He killed the space program.
Yeah.
He killed it to became nothing. Republicans, again, in their own stupidity, took away that. And I don't care. They had some fucking movie about the first man on the moon, but had no American symbols on it or talked about America. Fuck you. It was an America. We put them on their moon. I watched it as a child. I used to get up early in the morning to watch launches. I loved to watch the Saturn V launch. It was a beautiful spacecraft. And you know what Trump has done? They gilded NASA. NASA's done. They finished NASA. There are so many cuts in NASA. They're not doing anything anymore.
Well, you know who
He's
the
cut.
head of NASA is now?
I don't know, some dickhead.
Well, let me tell you. Um, it's the same guy. He's uh, Sean Duffy
Oh
is the
yeah, the
director of
road rules
NASA now.
guy.
Now he is the transportation director. Um, Elon Musk wanted somebody for NASA. Donald Trump shit on Elon Musk and didn't give him the job. So they needed somebody to be there. So while he's the transportation director doing such a great job, Newark, New Jersey, and
Didn't
the
um
airlines, but he's
didn't
now
an
the head of
aircraft
NASA.
didn't an aircraft the other day had to make a dive because they had to avoid a B-52 because they couldn't see it and traffic control didn't tell them. The Delta pilot had
Exactly.
to apologize to passengers because they made most of them throw up their lunch to save
Yeah.
their lives. But go ahead, moving on.
So NASA is run by Sean Duffy, whose big career moves were road rules and what's it, the real world. He's a clown from the 90s, and Donald Trump likes him because maybe he looks good on TV or whatever. He's fucking up the transportation part. And that's one of the things that's so interesting. One of the reasons we went to the moon was to be ahead of everybody else. We
Yes,
were in a race with Russia to beat them. So then we get there, and then we just take a shit and don't do much of anything at all shortly thereafter. I mean, we did some things after that too, and we had the shuttle and stuff like
but
that. But we never went farther than the moon, and we probably could have.
we could. I mean, there was so much. There's a great television show on Apple TV. I wish it wasn't on Apple. Called For All Mankind. It's a different timeline of the space race. See, the reason the Russians could have beat us to the moon. The problem is they didn't have a heavy duty booster that we developed as the Saturn V. They did. It failed miserably. I mean, it exploded. So they backed away from it
Yeah.
because it was too expensive. If that had succeeded, more than likely the Russians would have made it to the moon first. And in this timeline of the show is based on, they did. In this timeline, the space race continues to Mars. It's a great show, but it shows so many possibilities because everything's practical that we're already on the drawing board. See,
Right.
NASA had a future. They were thinking moon base. They were thinking Mars. Those guys in the old days were smart and they were dedicated to what was the future. We don't have that anymore. We have people keep looking in the past. We
Yeah.
have people who is running who are running the fucking CDC who have no idea what they're doing and going backwards. Before long, they're going to say bacteria doesn't exist; it's only spirits, like they used to do in the old days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Measles are back. What the fuck? I mean, I saw a program, I guess that's on TV about we're going to take kids to the pioneer days and we're going to take away their electronics and we're going to live off the land. And I thought, great, enjoy TB, enjoy polio, enjoy smallpox, enjoy measles. You fucking Luddites, okay? Those days, the reason we moved from that because it was miserable and people wanted to be better. That's
Well,
why
the
people
reason,
advance.
and people have to understand the mainstream in medical care will be bloodletting, where they cut you
Yeah,
open, make you bleed a
leeches.
little bit, and that's going to make you better. That never worked. But that's the thing is they do want to go back to what they feel is better days. But technology is one of the reasons we live to 70s, 80s, as opposed to the 50s, like we did not that long ago.
Right.
Technology has been a big force in why we're able to get a lot of things done. I mean, let's be honest. When I was in high school, computers weren't a thing. But now that I'm 65 years old, without computers, nothing fucking
Yeah.
runs.
I mean, computers when we were a kid were what was it? Enoch, which was like the size of a fucking barn
Yeah.
because of the vacuum tubes. I mean, the the development of the transistor made so much difference. I mean, these are science things that we learned in school. People don't learn this shit anymore. They
Yeah.
don't understand where we were and where we're at now. And I think that's part of the biggest problem is that there's again, nerd, but if you read, it kind of brings stuff to you guys. Reading is more than fundamental, it's actually life changing.
Yeah.
Please read. There's a great old story by Ray Bradbury about a world that's kind of like ours now, where people are always connected. Now, he didn't talk about cell phones. He talked about like look at radio phones that people are always talking to people. People always were contact. Everyone's in contact with everyone, kind of like we are now. And it talks about this one guy who decided, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and wanted to go back. Um, and I remember that story because this guy couldn't fit into society because he couldn't take the noise because it drove him crazy. He didn't want to be watched all the time. He didn't want to do that. But at the end, there's the one guy who's a psychologist, was just part of the world. He's answering phones. His wife's this. He's ordering stuff. That's what our world is, for better or for worse. Okay, we are part of this. And for every person that says, "I remember the old days were better," you're a lying sack of shit.
No,
Because
they
I
weren't
remember
better. They were
they,
different. They were
they were
simpler, but
different,
not better.
but not better. Now, the one thing that didn't follow a lot of this is ethics and empathy, but it was there, but it got pushed out as people tried to figure out a way. Why does my life suck? That's
Yeah.
part of the problem. Why does my life suck? Well, your life sucks sometimes. My life sucks. I get in a fight with my wife. I feel like, what the fuck? I understand that. I get have a bad day at work. I get it. But the point is, listen to all these guys talking about I'm alone. Why are you alone? What did you do to make yourself alone? No
Exactly.
one talks about that. Okay. You see me, guys? I've always looked like this. I've always been big. You know what? I didn't give a fuck. I ended up married a great woman. You know why? Because I worked it. I decided I wasn't going to be alone. I
That's
worked it. I mean,
that's what I tell people. People say, "Well, you work in radio and you talk a lot and all that stuff." And I said, "Well, I developed it honestly because I'm not 6 foot tall. I was in better shape when I was younger. I was stocky still, but I hung around guys that were elite hockey players. They're 6'3" and 220 and good-looking guys. And you're going to hang around those guys. You got to make up for your deficiencies. And the
mm-hmm,
only thing I could do was talk. So I had to talk my ass off. And
exactly.
fortunately, I was able to make something work because I married a wonderful woman too. But um, I forgot what the fuck I was going to say. I wanted to bring something else up. I
Yeah,
wanted
I'm sorry.
regarding the Epstein thing.
Yeah.
Um, Now, about 75-80% of the country wants to see the Epstein files, but for whatever reason, the Republicans want to block it. Okay, they vote down a proposed bill or whatever it is they're going to push through. Now, earlier yesterday, which is actually today, but you're hearing this on Tuesday, um, there was another bill put forward to be put on the floor to vote on to force the release of the Epstein files. Mike Johnson chose, yeah, we're not putting that up. And
No,
not
he's not
only
put
aren't
on the
we putting
floor.
that up, we're going to take the vacation early and be gone 6 weeks
Mm-hmm.
because I think they believe that this will all settle down while they're gone. That's not going to happen.
Well, I would say yes to a 70-30 balance
Yeah.
because that's what they're hoping. That's why you're getting the flooding of all the bullshit. All of a sudden, Trump cares about the name of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, dude. For you saying that as racist as it is, also he's concerned about the Cleveland Guardians that used to be called the Indians. Okay,
All right.
hello. I remember Chief Wahoo. That if they ain't racist, I don't know what else is. Okay, thank you. I mean, the Guardians have changed. No one cares. The only people that care are like 75-year-old old dudes who want things the way it was. It doesn't work like that, guys.
Yeah.
And the Commanders, the reason the name changed is they finally got the team sold from Daniel Snyder, who was a fucking scumbag who kept the Redskins just to aggravate anyone. Now they're in Maryland. They want to move back to a stadium like around RFK in the city of in DC, but Trump wants to get in the way because he just makes that announcement because he needs something out there. Then comes the Obama thing, and did you hear this beauty? Pam Bondi was thanking Chuck Grassley the other day for information about Hillary Clinton's emails.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay,
Wow, that's an oldie but a goodie.
I mean, this is in Hollywood terms calling jump the shark. You're
Yeah,
going back
absolutely.
to something that really you're going to do that. This is where they're at. Or she's showing up at Alcatraz to show, yeah, we can make this into prison. It's a fucking relic. You can't do it. You can't refurbish that building. It's a museum piece. It's
Yeah.
all a joke. All
It would
right.
cost billions and billions of dollars to renovate that, to use it. And again, everything they do, everything they say is about performance more than it is about substance. Um, I did say this in a TikTok. I like to make lemonade out of lemons sometime. And we're hearing about all these detention camps that they're building and all the money that's being spent, the atrocities that are being committed in it, all the crimes and the corruption of it all. Um, I try to look at the bright side sometime, and I'm thinking to myself, well, at some point, Donald Trump will be no more. This whole MAGA thing will go by the wayside. And when it does, when we go through the Nuremberg trials or whatever we do after that, tribunals or just court cases, when we do that, we're going to have to put those treasonous motherfuckers someplace. So they love these detention camps. Now, let's find out what they think about them from the inside.
Yeah. And it's time to also let's on that not touch. Marines and the some of the National Guard are going out of Los Angeles. People say, "Oh, great,
Yeah.
he's back." No, no, because they got more money for ICE agents.
Yeah.
ICE got their money, and so they don't have to use the military. and ICE is it's just gone out. They're just picking anybody out because it's all about making America white again. Um, and we're talking about the stories in these camps, the detention, people treated like eating off the ground, people being punished. I don't know who's running these camps. They're literally the worst of the worst human beings. And
Right.
everyone tells the stories, but there's no action because in these states, the state governments are complicit with these actions. But if they're happening in blue states, I don't know why the blue state governors or mayors aren't taking their police forces and releasing those prisoners or going there and closing these things down. That's the thing. They know no one's going to stop them.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way that the Nazi camps ended was through people, through the end of the war and soldiers finding them. And that's where we're at right now. And until someone takes, we hear all these stories. That's great. Yeah, we got to put it out there. Yeah, but who's gonna do anything about it? And a
That's a
majority of
good
people
point.
still don't believe it's true, if which is history repeating itself because there were stories of concentration camps coming out around the world and no one believed it because the
To
Germans
this
said that's a
day,
lie. Yeah.
to this day, people don't believe in the Holocaust or the concentration camps or anything like that. I mean, that's something we should look forward to. We might be dead by the time this comes about. Maybe not, maybe right afterwards, when this is all said and done and people start talking about the concentration camps in the United States, there'll be a faction of people saying, oh, that's a hoax. That never happened. Well, we're here. We see the video. It happened. I
And
know when I was a little kid, my grandfather was in World War II. And he was in Italy and some other places. But I know that he liberated one of the concentration camps, and I'm not
oh
sure which one it
Jesus.
was. But I asked him because it was in the news in the 70s, and I said, people are saying these concentration camps and the Holocaust didn't happen. Now you have to understand, my grandfather was a very gregarious guy. He was always joking around. He's
Mhm.
always telling stories about World War II. Every time I saw him, he told a story, but they were all funny stories, not horrific stories. When I asked him about that, he just kind of put his head down and he just looked at me and he goes, "They're fucking real," and that's all I'm going to say about it. He would not go into detail about it. If
God,
my
I hate to
grandfather
see.
says at that point, I said, "If Grandpa, if you say they're real, they're fucking real." But
Oof.
I'm afraid people are going to try to deny some of the horrible shit
Well,
that's going on now, 20 years down the road.
what there's a famous case. They actually did a TV movie with Leonard Nimoy in it, where there was a guy who said, "I will pay someone $1 million to prove the Holocaust happened." See, the problem with these guys is that, like ICE and like these fascists, the Germans wrote everything down.
Right.
They like keeping books.
Yeah.
Okay, understand the tattoos were a tracking thing. IBM sold the Germans their card system to keep track of stuff. Look
Right.
that up. It's disgusting. And IBM did it under another moniker, but they sold them their first, the punch cards so
Right.
they can track their atrocities. So finding evidence was easy. The guy reneged on the $1 million, but it's easy because they wrote it all down. Same thing here. You ain't hiding shit. We know what's going on. And the problem we have right now is that it's just there's no one's going to save these people because there's no due process. You're not dragging them into court. They keep saying they're criminals. Great. How come they're not in court? And Christy Nome, when confronted by a reporter, are these ethnic, basically, are you base this on ethics? She goes, no, when you say that, you insult me. Don't ask me again. You lying bitch. Tom Homan said what it was. It's ethnic cleansing.
Right.
It's ethnic cleansing, and they're doing this on a large scale, and they're torturing people. Women and children are disappearing, and everyone sits there. That's great. What's for lunch?
You know, it's
I'm
the
sorry,
you
the
know it's the
majority of people do that.
you know it's the irony about the alligator Alcatraz. They keep telling us the people that are going into the alligator Alcatraz are the worst of the worst. And they are right. The people in the alligator Alcatraz are the worst of the worst, but they aren't the ones imprisoned. They're the ones guarding the prisoners. Those
Exactly.
fucks are the worst of the worst.
And the only solution I have right now is till people get tired of it and just go to the next step. That's the thing I'm waiting for right now because the government is a lost cause.
Yeah.
The military seems to be tapped as backed away, and the majority. There was an arrest of someone for by ICE who wasn't an immigrant, as an American citizen, but who was taking videos of ICE in Southern California, and he was arrested, and his wife was taking a video of it, and they threatened her with mace. She was yelling at the guys. They had one guy literally from the upper here, you could see he was Hispanic. She goes, "You're Hispanic. What's your name? What's your badge number?" She goes, "It's Google. Go look it up." This is the men they've attracted.
Yeah.
These people are low self-esteem assholes who never amounted to anything in life and want to be bullies.
Right.
And there are plenty of them. You know that you can get paid $100,000 to be an ICE agent now. Very little training. They're just looking for
Seriously?
bodies. Seriously, with you sign up. There's a $20,000 bonus. With overtime and pay, you can make over $100,000 a year as an ICE agent.
Wow.
And it's like, and there are people signing up because to
Well, I
them
can
it's a
imagine.
job. To them it's a job, and I just can't imagine. And they show up, and who are you arresting? I mean, again, they have not showed up in crime areas. I'm
No,
waiting for that. And
I
Tom
haven't
Homan
seen.
is. Go ahead.
You would
Sorry.
think if they got a gang member or a drug addict or an insane person or a rapist, you would have thought they would have brought them in front of the cameras and say, "We got one." I haven't seen one. Not one. I saw an old man who did landscaping. I saw an
Yep.
old woman who was a fucking cook in a restaurant. I've seen kids with cancer. Never seen one criminal. Never
Oh
have
yeah.
seen one gang member.
And the old man they picked up was getting a replacement for his green card because he was granted asylum for fleeing Pinochet's fascist government in the
Right.
80s, and he just wanted to get a replacement. And all of a sudden, this is where we're at. And all I hear from when they're here legally, they shouldn't be legal. Yeah, they're trying to do the right processes and still picking them up. And again, going back to what we are talking about in the beginning of the podcast here about that woman in that stupid Marius Mediasan versus, versus the dregs of society, blaming immigrants because she can't get a job. Bitch, then go fucking cut trees.
Yeah.
Go do something. I mean, that's the thing. No one is going to give you. America is not a great country per se. It's a great opportunity.
Right.
And no one gives you anything in the United States. What they will give you normally is support if you need help, but they're not going to give you a job or they're not going to give you a position. You have to go get it. And if you want something beyond it, you have to go get it. If you slip and fall, that's what the system is designed for. See, that's the
Right.
difference. What I look at America as other people do, who think that if you can't get something, then you don't deserve anything. No, me, I look at it as if you try, great. You're going to fail, great. That's the way America is. But if you get a chance to prop yourself up, you can move forward again. The problem is they took out the support for everyone, and that's going to cost them. And I don't know when the turning point is and how bad it's going to go, but man, you start giving people nothing to lose, they ain't good, guys. They
No.
ain't good
No.
for a government at all.
If you've got nothing to lose, you can afford to be crazy. I just saw this news story come in. Representative Mark Green, a Republican from Tennessee, has resigned from the House amid a tight margin between parties in the lower chamber. Says it's with a heavy heart that I say farewell to my constituents across the seventh district. Thank you. The trust you put in me is humbling. I will look back fondly on my years of serving you as a voice in Washington. Green, who started in the House in 2019, said on his X post, there are now 219 Republicans and 212 Democrats in the lower chamber, only a 7 seat difference amid already high tensions between the two parties. So it's very close, but we
Why is
found
he
out that,
resigning?
well, I think there's going to be a lot of Republicans resigning, knowing that they're not going to do well in the 2026 election, or just not able to stomach the bullshit that's going on. But we have a 219 to 212 difference. That's a thin margin. But unfortunately, what we've seen with the House of Representatives, some of them will say, "Oh, I'm not going to vote for this," and then they'll get a call and then they vote. There
Why
was
no?
Lisa Murkowski, a
Oh
senator
my
from
God!
Alaska.
I'm glad you're going
She
to bring
came
that
out.
up. Go ahead.
Yeah, she came out
Oh,
yesterday and she says she feels like she was cheated by Donald Trump. Let's remind people who she is. She's a senator from Alaska. She's one of the two, her and Susan Collins, who always say, "We don't like Donald Trump. We're not voting for it." And then at the last minute, they do vote for it because they get a call or they're just flat out bullshitting. Lisa Murkowski tried to cut a deal where she would vote for the bill as long as her state was fine and everybody else got fucked over. She got heat for it afterwards and she acted appalled, but she was clearly embarrassed. And now she feels cheated because apparently the things she wanted in exchange for her vote, they ain't in the bill. So now she's upset. Now she's hurt. And as far as I'm concerned, she's a gutless, complicit piece of shit. And she's no better than any other fucking Republican in the Senate at this point.
to use a term from the movie Anima House, you fucked up. You trusted us.
Yeah,
You,
exactly.
you, you that I mean, that was already taken out of the bill because the parliamentarian wouldn't take it, and they didn't give her what she is why we're at.
Yeah,
Her and a lot of Democrats and all that who keep thinking there's bipartisanship. It brings us back to that the original thing about New York. There is no bipartisanship. And if Texas is going to redistrict, I don't want California to talk about it. I want them to do it. Fucking do it. Fucking do it now. Same with
yeah.
Illinois and New York. Stop fucking around waiting for them to make a move. You make the move.
That's
Do
one of
it.
the problems with politics. There's more posturing than there is action.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do this. We could do that. We plan to do this. Do fucking something for once, and then
Because
let it fly. But I'd be surprised if California actually does it.
yeah,
Um,
that's what pisses me off because Texas is going to do. They have a flood of over 100 years. There's close to 200 people dead. And what does the Texas legislature go in a special session for? To protect their phony baloney jobs with redistricting.
yeah,
That tells you everything that Texas thinks of their people, even
right,
in Kerrville, which is heavy red.
yeah.
And so for Newsom to talk about it, if they do it, God damn it, they're going to do it. They always do it. They're always going to do the worst. And you're fucking around with this. And if they get 5 more seats, which is a possibility out of this redistricting, because they'll go to court, but if you go to court in there, it's going to be a nightmare. Good luck stopping that for the 26th election. And Trump, the president of the United States, is encouraging illegal gerrymandering.
Yeah.
And you're talking about it. You should have a plan in the legislature now. It should be on your desk, ready to be signed. But you Democrats, stop it. You keep playing these fucking good guy games. There is no more good guys anymore. We
No,
cannot
there
play
really
these
isn't.
rules. I mean, because that goes back to people are going to see this and wonder why is Will being harsh, because it's time to stop fucking around. Donald Trump has been accused of fucking little girls. Hi, that's the truth. Donald
I got to
Trump is
be.
a racist.
I got to be honest. I would. I would find it hard to believe somebody saying, Why is Will being harsh today?
Well,
It's, I mean, this
yeah,
ain't
I
new,
understand.
Will.
I know it's not new, and I know that's cost me a lot. But the point is, like, that's why we're in the situation we are, because a lot of people wring their hands. They wring their hands and go, "Oh yeah, well that would be bad if you say that." That would be, who cares? Because it's the truth. We
Yeah.
see it every day. We see this, and they're suffering because you don't call it out. And no one has showed Trump to be naked. They haven't called him out for 10 fucking years. No
No.
one has called him out. We know he's done. I mean, that whole there Midas Touch sent out creepy videos of that teenage bathing beauty contest he's part of. These
Yeah.
girls marching in front of these fucking old fat men. It was fucking creepy and gross and disgusting. And he was in the back with the women changing. We know who he is. We know who his friends are. And we just sit there and just go, we don't want to say anything because why? I mean, that's the thing
Yeah.
with the media. They won't call it out. They want to both sides this. Both sides what? There is no both sides to fascism and democracy. Either you're in or you're out. That whole Jubilee thing with, one versus whatever, that's just mainstreaming the bullshit. Yeah, Mahdi
Yeah.
Hassan, went after these people, but all you did was see 20 people basically mainstream their hate
Well,
with people cheering.
that's one of the things that frustrate me about TikTok, YouTube to a certain extent, and this show that you're talking about. It's called Surrounded, where you get one person and you get a bunch of people against him stepping up. Um, People are really playing off the views and the attention with these debates with Trumplafucks. And I've said this before. I've debated a few Trumplafucks. Not very hard. It's kind of unfulfilling because you know you're going to kick their ass. You're going to make them look stupid. They're going to cry and they're going to run. And then afterward, you feel a little better, but then you feel dirty and it's pointless. But people that you see on TikTok and people that you see on other social media platforms that forever debate with Trumplafucks,
Ugh,
they're doing the same things that mainstream media did by pitting
exactly.
Donald Trump. They're trying to do whatever it is that's going to get more views. Now, I will tell you this: the day I talked to HVAC Joe or whatever the fuck his name was, the Trumplafuck, and I kind of tore him
Yes.
up on the show.
Hmm.
To date, that has more views on that podcast than any other podcast I've done, and I've done one a fucking day for 3 or 4 years. So,
Sad, ain't it?
um, it's sad, and people always came to me and said, "Yeah, don't do that again. It's not comfortable." But everybody fucking watches it. So that's why when you go to TikTok and you see these young kids that are pretty talented in their own right, but they spend their time arguing with these people, it's about generating views. It's about making money. And that's one of the things that I don't want to do. If I can generate views by doing what I want to do,
Yeah.
cool. If I make a little money by doing what I want to do, cool. But I'm not going to do something I don't want to do just to get views.
I mean, I watched one video. There's one guy, I think he's good trouble, but I've seen him. I just popped on the live and he had this guy on who was obviously a cultist. And he asked him, his question is the world round or is the world flat? This motherfucker refused to give him a straight answer.
Of
Is the
course.
world round? He goes, maybe. Is it or is it not? Okay. Well, scientifically, they say it is. Well, do you believe it? Well, there's other points of view. Okay. But you
Not.
see, this guy is a smart guy. I've listened to some of his stuff. Why are you talking to this fucking cockroach?
Yeah,
He is
exactly.
not
That's my
worth my
point.
time. He is not worth your time. And yeah, I burned through 3 fucking accounts in fucking less than 4 months. Why? Because I can't do it. I cannot give you the time of my fucking day.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, in my job, I deal with enough stupidity as it is.
Yeah.
Yes, the reason your insurance is $300 a month because you have 2 fucking at-fault accidents. Well, it's not my fault. That's your problem, dude. I hear that every fucking day. I don't have time for you guys because you don't know how it works. And I can't explain it to you because you're so deep in your hate, your racism, and your stupidity. I mean, that's the thing. I see guys talk lies and get millions of views, and it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
There was a guy who's got 1 million views talking about how terrorists have given us a surplus in surplus, an economic surplus. This is some black guy. I don't even know if he knows how economics work.
Yeah.
It's insane. But he's got like 1 million plus views, and I'm
Well,
like, I
yeah.
can't.
Well,
Wow.
it's like Donald Trump. They say something, and because they said it, in their minds, it's absolutely true. And then there are dumb people that believe that, and you get the same people coming on these shows saying things that make no sense. They have no
Yeah.
substance behind them, but they say it, and because they said it, it's sometimes true. And then they get butthurt when you say, yeah, it's not true because of this, this, and this. Now, respond to that, and then they get mad and they say, "Oh, you're just a libtard." There's no point in arguing with
Yeah.
them. There's really
Like
no point.
The Colbert thing. I said there was no financial reason to pull Colbert. There really wasn't. They
No,
made it up. And so I get some remark of this guy going, "Yeah, well, he laid out what the network said was costing them $40 million a year. It's a loss. So you don't know what you're talking about." I say, cultists, go away. Those are made up numbers.
now
They
why
made
didn't they? Why
yeah.
didn't they end it last year? Why not save that 40 million and end it last year? And
Why
why
not?
is everybody that's underneath him, as far as the ratings, not quitting?
Yeah, we know what it is, but you're trying to sell me that. You can't sell me again. To me, I think that's a minor point because she's going to. I remember when Johnny Carson retired.
Yeah,
Before he retired, he spent a year fucking with NBC, an entire year of just hammering that network. All right, he did that because he was pissed at him even when he was retiring. You do you know what Stephen Colbert is going to do for till May? Oh my
I do.
God, he doesn't give a. What are you going to do to me? Fire me? Huh?
Well, you know what? You know what? I'm really interested to find out. And because we're recording this on Monday night, I don't know. But I understand that Jon Stewart was going to do a show last night or tonight when I'm doing this. I'm curious as to what Jon Stewart's going to say because he doesn't tend to hold back either.
No. And Comedy Central is owned by Paramount as far as
Yeah.
the Viacom. And yeah, good luck. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead. Go ahead. See what happens. Sell
Like I
that
say,
one.
you take Jon Stewart and John Colbert and just put them on YouTube, a fucking channel with a drape behind them, they'll get more ratings than
Yeah,
anybody.
and that's the thing. As one person, I think someone made a good comment. One creator, broadcast networks are dying a slow death because their market,
Absolutely.
their version of their economics no longer works. Understand, there are shows on other networks that are streamed that are quality. They don't need the networks to do it. The networks have hits, but the majority of their views are coming from streaming.
Right.
I don't watch network shows anymore.
No.
I am a fan of the show The Rookie. I didn't know what the show was. I binged it through Hulu for 3 weeks till the seasons ended and I caught up. I don't go and watch it that day. I watch it the next day on Hulu, streaming that
Right.
I pay for. And if I choose to pay more, I don't have to do advertising. The networks don't have, they can't compete. When you have networks like, if Amazon, we'll throw Bezos out of it, Amazon produces shows. Amazon has even sports. They have some shows you watch there. Apple TV, Peacock, which is an arm at NBC. You have A&E. All these networks produce their own shows outside of the network. These are
Right.
studio built shows. And you can't do that because the networks don't have. If you're a network chief, you're a joke. You have no
Yeah.
power. You
Right.
don't. And the thing about it is, this whole Skydance thing, great. The only people that are going to make money off that Skydance is the owner. She's
Right.
and they're gonna she's gonna get her money and walk away.
Right.
And then Skydance is gonna be left with a white elephant. What do you get from CBS? Nothing. There's nothing on
Nothing
CBS
anymore.
I want to watch, honestly.
Well, 60 Minutes used to be a big spot for journalism, but nobody watches
No,
that
I
anymore
watch that.
because you can't trust it.
And Paramount has shows. See, here's the ironic thing. Paramount, the Paramount Plus network, has some great shows. They have Tyler Sheridan's shows,
Yeah.
Linus, Landman. They do have a good Star Trek show. They have a lot of good shows on Paramount Plus that aren't shown on CBS. You can't show Landman on CBS. Sorry, trust
Right.
me, it won't last. The point being is they are good dramas, but the networks are dying and they keep selling us now. The news shows are dying too. I don't give a fuck what MSNBC says. And to pull the plug on NPR and PBS. Yeah, okay, you lost your funding. It's going to be tough. I got a funny feeling people are going to step up on that,
Yeah, I do
and we'll
too.
see what happens. Because from my understanding, um, I believe Netflix has picked up Sesame Street to
Yeah.
produce it. I mean, we're dealing again. We're dealing with fucking Luddites. We're
Yeah.
dealing with morons who think if they turn the clock back, they will get back the power they had once. No, guys, because eventually your time's running out. Because Americans, they keep saying that, like this whole thing about Project Esther, which is basically turning America into the Taliban Christian wise, that
Right.
they'll do it and everyone's going to capitulate. Really. I'm
I
waiting
ain't.
for Americans to capitulate. I really am.
Yeah.
We've never done it.
No, that's
So
not.
good luck
That's
with
not.
that.
That's not in our makeup to do something like this. All right, Will, we're going to wrap things up for
Yeah, it's
the
been a while
Rational
today.
Boomer podcast. You got to work tomorrow, I presume.
Yes, as always, I have to deal
I got.
with people who have no idea how life works, but it's
I
my
got to
job.
be up by 9:30 tomorrow, no matter what. So
Why?
I don't really have to. My wife was having trouble sleeping because she was in pain for
Oh,
first she
yeah.
had her arm and then she had this hip flexor and it just wasn't. And my wife would come in and I'm sleeping in a different room because I don't want to roll on her and hurt
Right,
her.
right.
And so she'll come in and I'm dead asleep and she goes, "Are you sleeping?" Not anymore.
No, I
We weren't
was once. Thank you.
we weren't sleeping that well. And one day when she was feeling better, she woke up and she comes in to the room I'm in and she goes, "Do you know what time it is?" I go, "I just woke up, man. I have no idea what time it is." And she said, "It's 11 o'clock a.m." I'm going, "Oh, shit, I haven't slept that late in a long time." And she goes, "How, that's horrible. How can we do that?" I go, "Where do you got to go? You ain't got to go nowhere.
Yeah,
I ain't got to go nowhere. We just got extra sleep. So yay us."
yeah, yeah. I mean, the only reason we get up early because the cat needs to be fed by 10, and
Yeah.
she doesn't deal with that really well. My wife, we finally got the air conditioning where it is midnight my time. It is still close to 80 degrees here in Georgia
Wow.
with 100% humidity. So it's been a chore, and my wife has been hot, and I've got fans everywhere in the bedroom with air conditioning. But yeah, she's been having issues too, and it's the life here in summer in Georgia. And I just
Yeah.
don't. I'm not looking forward to see the power bill next month, but it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. No
Um,
kidding.
any, but
Well,
yeah,
thanks, Will.
Yeah,
Tell
real
people
quick.
where they can find you.
Yeah. First thing, YouTube, Binder 38 US on YouTube. I've got 99 subscribers. I like to
Nice.
see
Get
100.
let's get some more in there.
You get 100. On TikTok, it is KUMQUAT, the number 6. That's kumquat. It's a fruit. I had to keep saying that. It's a fruit. Kumquat 6. On TikTok, I am up to 240 followers, and TikTok has not found me yet. Um, I'm just kind of doing my thing. I'm being wholly suppressed. I don't care anymore. It is what it is. And then Substack, you can find me at Binder 38 US on Substack. I've done a few lives there. I was going to ask you, how do you post to that thing? Every time I try to post something to Substack, it takes forever to download a video, like hours to download a video. It's
Well, it doesn't take
ridiculous.
me. It takes longer to. It takes longer to upload something to it than it
Upload.
does
Yeah.
TikTok or something. It takes longer. It doesn't take hours, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It does take longer. I
It's
will tell you something to do though. Something I obviously do because I use it for the podcast. When you do your live,
mm-hmm.
okay? When you do your live, well, when you do your live on Substack, give it about a half hour or so, then go into Substack on your computer.
Okay.
Okay, sign into on a computer. Go to your dashboard, and then go to your posts.
Uh-huh.
And then when you see the live that you did, hit edit, and then you'll be able to download the video and the audio of it, and then take that download and put it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So on edit it. So can I
That's
do
how
that
you.
now? What I have already posted because it's sitting on my Substack.
Yeah, you could go in there and
Okay.
find where it's posted, and then there's three buttons, and hit that, and it's when it says edit, then you'll bring it up so that you can download it. If you don't do the edit, you won't be able to download it. But do
Okay,
that,
I got you.
and then put
But
it
on
on
a
YouTube
laptop, not on your phone. Correct.
on a laptop.
On
Yeah,
a laptop.
exactly.
Okay, got you. I'll keep that in mind. Hi everyone. There's your advice for posting in social
Yeah.
media for the day. But yeah, check it out. We're going to keep doing this until they either tell us no or we find ourselves in the Everglades. One or the other, but we'll keep
One
going
one
regardless.
one or the other. Those of
Right.
you listening, thanks for taking the time. I hope you have a great day. We will talk to you again tomorrow.